15 years ago, on a stormy night in a small town called Willow Creek, a nurse named Clara discovered 3 newborn girls wrapped in a thin blanket at the entrance of St. Mary's Hospital. Their cries pierced through the cold air, and as she bent down, she saw their tiny faces, each one identical yet uniquely beautiful. They were later named Hope, Grace, and Faith by the hospital staff. The authorities searched everywhere for the parents, but no one ever came forward. The case of the abandoned triplets made headlines across the country, their story capturing the hearts of millions. The sisters became a symbol of both tragedy and miracle, a mystery that had no answers. Clara, who had lost her own child years ago, couldn't bear to see the babies separated. After months of paperwork and pleading, she was granted custody and became their adoptive mother. Life wasn't easy for Clara. She worked long hours as a nurse, often taking extra shifts to make ends meet. Yet, her love for the girls was unshakable. Hope grew up to be brave and protective, Grace was gentle and artistic, and Faith, the youngest by a few minutes, was wild and full of laughter. Together, they filled the old cottage with warmth and life. The townsfolk often said, Clara didn't save them, they saved her. But as the girls grew older, so did their questions. Why did our real parents leave us? Hope once asked at age 10, her eyes full of curiosity. Clara smiled sadly and said, sometimes people make choices they're not ready to face. But what matters is that you were never unloved. Still, the question lingered in their hearts. The triplets, though happy, often felt like something was missing. Each of them wondered about the faces they'd never seen, the voices they'd never heard. And yet, Clara's endless love made sure their pain never turned to anger. 15 years passed like a dream. The triplets had become young women, smart, graceful, and beautiful in their own ways. Hope excelled in law school, determined to fight for children's rights. Grace pursued her passion for art, painting stories of love and loss on every canvas. Faith, free-spirited and bold, traveled the country filming documentaries about abandoned children and orphanages. Each had unknowingly carried a piece of their shared pain into their dreams, transforming it into purpose. One day, a major television network reached out to them after rediscovering their childhood story in an old newspaper archive. Would you like to share your story 15 years later? The producer asked. The sisters hesitated at first, worried that reopening the past would hurt Clara. But Clara, smiling with tears in her eyes, said, if your story can give hope to one abandoned child out there, it's worth it. And so, they agreed. When filming began, the world was stunned by how the triplets had grown. Their striking resemblance to one another made headlines once again. Same eyes, same smile, same grace, but their personalities shone even brighter. During the interview, they shared stories of their childhood, their mother's sacrifices, and the bond that kept them inseparable. We never had a father's name or a family legacy, Grace said, but we had love. And that's all we needed. As the episode aired, it reached millions of viewers worldwide. Messages poured in from people who remembered them as babies, offering love and admiration. But among those viewers was someone no one expected, their biological mother. Living in another city under a new identity, she sat frozen in front of the TV, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "My girls." Years of guilt crushed her heart. She had been young, scared, and alone when she abandoned them. Poverty and shame had driven her to a desperate decision she regretted every single day. Since, now, seeing them all grown, radiant, and strong, she couldn't stop crying. A week later, the network received an anonymous letter addressed to the triplets. Inside was a photo of a young woman holding 3 newborns and a note that read, "I never stopped loving you. I just didn't believe I deserved you." The sisters were shocked, unsure whether to believe it. But when the DNA test results came back, it confirmed the truth. Their biological mother, Lydia, had finally been found. The meeting was arranged at the same hospital where they had been left 15 years ago. As Lydia walked in, trembling, the 3 sisters stood waiting. There was silence, heavy and sacred. Then, Faith took the first step forward, whispering, "You're her." Lydia broke down crying, falling to her knees, repeating, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." Grace knelt beside her, tears streaming down her face, and whispered, "You gave us life. Clara gave us love. Between you both, we were never truly abandoned." Hope, ever the strong one, pulled them all into an embrace, whispering, "Let's not live in the past anymore. Let's start again." For the first time in 15 years, the triplets had their mother back, and Lydia finally found the forgiveness she had prayed for every night. The story went viral again, but this time not for tragedy, for healing. The world saw three young women who turned pain into power, loss into love, and abandonment into inspiration. Their reunion wasn't the end of their story, it was the beginning of a new chapter, one built on forgiveness, family, and the unbreakable bond of three hearts that were always meant to find their way back home.